it's that time of the week again, bitch. Yep, it's that time for another exciting episode of Old School New School Comedy Podcast, and I am your host, Christy Miller. And with me this week is one of my newer homies in the stand-up scene. He's the next generation after me at the Comedy Store, where he's a paid regular and been doing stand-up for 16 years, and he's the co-creator of the Carmichael Show, and he was also part of the wave in Roast Battle. I love him. He's a hell of a writer and an all-around great guy, and if you ever see his Obama impression, you'll know why we love him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Willie Hunter.
Yeah.
What's up, Wildo?
Oh, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. I'm really shitty at the technology part of this.
I mean, you're doing more than me, so you're killing it so far.
I like doing it in person better because it's a lot less buttons to push, so to speak.
Right. But you still got to edit and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Too, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm a one-man band. That's what I did in lockdown, was teach myself all this stuff.
Wow.
Because, you know, a woman of a certain age, we're lucky we could send an email without fucking it up.
I'm trying to think, what did I do during lockdown? I think I drink a lot of alcohol. I think that's what I did. I really wanted to test my limits to see if I was an alcoholic, and I'm not. It's just not for me.
Congratulations. Yep, didn't like it.
Hey,
How did you handle lockdown? I saw you before and after. You didn't look any different.
I don't look at. I feel the same. I feel the same. I look the same.
You're like, I'm still black. I'm still keeping it real.
Got some golf clubs. That's
the
only
shit
thing that changed. You know.
Oh wow. Okay, Tiger Woods, what's up?
I love it when I go to golf courses. When I wear a cap. When I wear a cap and I got my glasses, people kind of double take and they think that I am Tiger Woods for a moment because I'm light skinned and I'm on the golf course, you know.
And you fuck white women.
And that too. The same amount as Tiger Woods, actually. We have a undisclosed bet.
Hilarious. Well, he has a hip replacement, doesn't he?
Oh man, that man is falling apart right now.
Oh, honey.
He had to pull out, which is something he don't do well, out of a golf event.
Good night.
And he was sick. He got sick, so he had to pull out of this golf event. He broke his leg in a car accident. He needs to take a break for a moment. Just sit down. Sit down, Tiger. He
gets hit with a baseball bat by a white bitch, crashes his SUV. Then he wrecks on the PCH? He wrecked his car, went over the cliff or something. He's a mess, honey. I hope you don't drive a golf cart like that. Unbelievable. So don't do that, Willie, please.
All right.
So tell me everything. Tell me what is happening with you. You created the Carmichael Show. You're a part of the wave on Roast Battle. I know everybody wants to hear about that, or not.
No, I mean, the thing about the wave, which is it was the most fun I ever had and stand-up comedy or comedy in general, because we got to be clowns on stage. Like it was almost like the id of comedy. Like it went back to Three Stooges.
Totally.
You know, we couldn't talk and we just had props and we just had to make you laugh quickly within 6 seconds. And so we were like the peanut gallery for roasting, like, you know, roast battle. Like when two people roast each other, we would be the accent if the joke was good, and sometimes we would be the accent if the joke was bad.
Right.
But it kept the show moving along. As an audience member, you're like, whoa, this is like a circus up here. And I don't know if you haven't done it with the wave, but you've done roast battle before.
Yes. Yeah. I did it at New York Comedy Club.
And it's nerve-wracking, you know?
It really is, because all eyes are on you. And you got to go up like a school shooter. You know,
I tell people, no, you have to go up there with your back against the wall because they want blood. They want blood. I mean, you said school shooter. I feel like they got a bunch of pitchforks, like an angry mob. The audience is like, give me blood.
Yeah, like the
so the
oh
wave,
my God.
we got to jump in and we got to be like silly and goofy and to take that edge off a little bit. You know, like I think we did a bit. I remember where I played I was in an angel wings costume. And I laid on the ground, and Jamar went up with like this bandana tie, like he was from the Crips.
Oh
and
my God.
Jeremiah held up a sign that said, "For my dead homies." And Jamar poured out a 40 on top of me, and I came up and flew up with my little wings like this. I don't remember the roast joke, but I remember doing that on stage, and the audience just went, ah.
And that probably overshadowed the roast joke. That's why you don't remember it.
Yeah, it could have been one of those battles that wasn't hitting hard, you know. So we went for the fences on that bit.
Well, with that, you'd need something like the wave, especially because I've been to many roast battles and been in roast battles that were wah, 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 terrible. And it's like, who wrote your jokes? Helen Keller? She couldn't see the paper or hear the rhythm? What the fuck happened? You know? And you know me, I'll go for the jugular. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, it's always bad when a comic is roasting and they're reading the jokes off their phones, and it's like, and it's terrible. I'm like, you wrote that down? Like you wrote that down? Wow. All right, Wave, let's go try to clean this up. I don't know what we're gonna do here. Am I in the room again, Christy? There she is. I was like, I took over the show now. This is mine now.
Yo, fuck that bitch. That's what she get. Talking shit. God cut her off. You know, I had to leave for a minute.
That was quick. I was like, what happened there? And then I was just talking, and that happens a lot to me. I just start talking. I look up and I go, oh, they left already. All right.
I had to cut out. We must be using AT&T today for some reason.
Oh, do you have AT&T?
Fuck no.
I do.
I got
get a
T-Mobile.
Oh well.
I used to have Sprint.
Oh my goodness.
And they bought T-Mobile bought them. So I used to call it Scrimps PCS. And now we are T-Mobile, honey. We are trans mobile. And we identify as a real network.
I had a friend that told me, he said T-Mobile, when I first got cell phone service, I had Verizon. And he goes, ooh, you must have good credit. I was like, I don't really have any credit. And then my credit got bad. And he goes, T-Mobile, that's where you need to go. And they don't check anything. They give you a phone on sign up. They're like, here you go. We'll put you on month to month because we don't trust you. Yeah,
they check your pulse. That's about it. Are you going to be alive next month to pay this fucking bill, bitch? Yeah, they give the store away. Then they fucking come after. They're like the mafia. Look at it. We give you all these nice things. And then they come and collect. And you're like, fuck. Why is it so expensive? It's expensive because they can't trust your fucking no credit having ass. Your busted ass.
But they've come a long way as a company, though. I mean, if they're buying up Sprint, so they got a lot of towers, so they're really they're going all in.
They're huge right now, bro. They're huge. They're taking over. T stands for taking over mobile, bitch. Verizon's like the old lady of the phone companies now. Yeah, Verizon.
Well, Verizon tried to get cute and they tried to get into entertainment. They had like an entertainment branch, and it was like Quibi. It wasn't Quibi, but it was like a Quibi or what's the other one that failed too? Tubi, Ruby, I don't know. There's so many these people coming and like, I can start my own thing, and I'm like, no, you can't.
Quibi and Tubi are like the Sheen of clothing companies. They're the worst. It is so like made in China. The acting is so bad. It's worse than watching autistic kids do Shakespeare. It's really bad. And I don't mean anything bad about autistic children. They're more entertaining than anybody on Tubi or QB or Quibi or what the fuck they want to call it. But back to what we were talking about with the roast battles and when we got cut off. But the thing is, like, having the wave really brings to life, especially when shit bombs. And I'm sure you guys did a lot of episodes where people just bombed out.
Yeah.
You know, there had to be. And I've watched so many bad battles, and I've been to some killer battles. And it's just, I remember I did a roast battle in Connecticut, and I didn't know anything about the guy. I just got back from my mother's funeral, so I didn't give a shit about a roast battle. I could care less. I wrote a couple jokes on the train, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to riff. I'm really good off the cuff, so I'm just going to riff. But my head wasn't in it. But I'm like, I made a commitment. I'm going to show up. These guys, and I love the Connecticut guys. All the Connecticut guys are amazing. And so the guy, Dave Sheehan, was roasting me. And I know he's not a strong stand-up, but the fucking guy is brilliant. And if you want someone to write your jokes for roast battle, this is the guy. Okay. And I got, I started, I got him good. He said something. I got another one in. But he was so funny and original with roasting me that I just sat down and said, fuck it, just go. This shit is funnier than anything I've ever heard in my life. I go, you actually sat down and found nuances about me, and you don't even know me. And you figured out like weird shit that it was so brilliant. I've never been roasted that smart before. It's usually, oh, you look like a man, or you're on steroids. What are you, China? You're Caitlyn Jenner. And I'm like,
very,
God,
very surfacey,
Yeah, because you're not trying. This dude was like talking about me in an outfit rocking the Joan Jett. Like I was like I was relevant when Joan Jett was alive or something like that. It was so brilliant. And just how he pieced together the bits and the row. I was just like, I just sat there and went, no, keep going. Just fucking let me have it. This is the greatest thing I ever heard. I was so happy.
That's the best part, is like, you got to remember when you do these roast battles is it's a show. It's still a show. So you can't lose your cool and take it personally. Yeah. If someone has really got you. I mean, I've done a couple of roast battles myself, and I was like, all right, I got beat. What are you going to do?
Yep. Exactly.
And I remember one time I got a little too cocky on one of my jokes. I was going against a guy. His name was Pete Canarcione. I believe that's how you say his last name. Pete
sure.
C. Mm-hmm. And Pete was on stage, and I found out that he had like 3 DUIs in his past or something. and I made a joke about his DUIs, and I made a joke about his liver.
Okay.
And and it hit, and I was like, yeah. And I stepped off the stage for one step, and I put my arm up like this, and the crowd was like, yeah. And right in that moment, time slowed down. Pete pulled up his microphone, and the first thing it wasn't even a joke. It was just a quip off what I say. He goes, oh yeah, that is true. I'm an alcoholic, but I'll tell you one thing, my liver is the blackest thing on this stage.
Oh,
and as I had my arm up, I'm like, oh,
you got me.
And the crowd, I think the wave came up and went against me. It was the only time the wave went against, as a member, the wave was like, look, man, I'm sorry I have to do this. They're like, Fredo, I'm sorry. What am I going to do?
Yeah. What do you want me to do? I did a roast battle one time at the Stand. It was with Comedy Fight Club. And that kid, Matt Marin, that runs it, he was on the show a few months ago. He's great. He's such a great roast master. Like, he running Comedy Fight Club in the city. It's so huge out here. And he's the perfect person. His delivery, because he's got brain damage from being in an accident, and he almost died. And, he's a little, but he's so funny. And I think he's tilted on a level that people don't connect. Like, he roasts me fucking genius every time. And, so he did one night. We did it at the Stand, and I don't know any of the new Jacks because I'm 100. So I'm like, I kind of know Oscar Aiden. He was on the show, one of my first episodes. Gay as a picnic basket. And so he goes, you want to go first? And Oscar's a host at the stand. I don't work the stand. I'm not cool enough for the stand. I don't have enough followers, and I don't suck anybody's dick. So I ain't getting spots. And I really don't care. So I'm there, and I feel like a fish out of water as it is, because nobody will talk to me because I'm not one of the cool kids. It's very Mean Girls meets Heathers over there.
And is a little bit, yeah.
It's so Mean Girls. And so we go up, and I do the opening joke. And I said, Oscar is so gay, his blood type is AIDS. Crushes! I'm all, yeah, I'm winning this fucking battle. This motherfucker had such a strategy that he wouldn't even address me in the whole battle. He turned to...
We lost Christy again. Hello, everyone. This is Willie. Thanks for sticking around. We're going to get Christy back.
Unfucking believable. This internet is garbage. Spectrum in New York. It's on the spectrum. It's a little, yeah. So
you're telling me about the guy. And,
yeah. So he's turned.
Like you're about to win.
So I think I'm owning this. Like I destroy. Like they're chanting after that joke, and I'm like, it was such a dumb joke. So, and I spent, you know me, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write 50, 60 roast jokes about you. So, and then I can pick and choose and organize them. He turns to the DJ and just starts talking. You know what I can't stand about her? Like, I'm not even in the room the whole time. And I go to retort, and it was like he wasn't even addressing me. And it was, the only thing that was annoying is that he wouldn't look at me. You know, like it was very
strategy, right?
It's a total strategy. Yeah, it was a brilliant strategy, but he wouldn't open his energy up to me. He kept his back to me the whole time, bent talking to the DJ in the corner.
And you said he was a gay man?
Yeah. And
yeah, that's such a gay. I mean, I'm not stereotyping or anything. You know,
do it, honey.
Yeah, it's like it's like. Did you hear something? I don't know if I heard anything.
Yeah, he's so over the top gay, and then like. You know, doing that, he took jokes from my act, and I'm like, and then one joke that he actually wrote bombed, and he was doing joke. I go, that's in my act, and I was so like annoyed that he wouldn't look at me that I was like, why didn't you just address? He's not looking at you. Like, why? Oh, you took that from my act. I bet you the next one's going to be about China. Oh, I bet you're going to make fun. And then I started doing that towards the end. And I was winning them back. I go, oh, going into my set again. I see somebody watch my set or something like that, and stole my jokes from my own bit to roast me with. Okay, that's brilliant. But it wasn't like, but they were all on his side anyway, because all the little chick comics that work there are all like buddies with him. So it was fine. I didn't care. I was just like, I was kind of annoyed he wouldn't look at me, but I'm like, what a brilliant strategy that was, you know? And then at the end, people were like hugging me, like, you're a really great joke writer. And I said, yeah, it's funny how I write my jokes. And I wrote his too, apparently.
You wrote his too, yeah. The thing about those roast battles, and I know the ones in Los Angeles where at least the show originated. I'm not going to say the art of roasting originated. That's stupid.
No.
But like the one that's on Comedy Central roast battle is that they have a panel of judges. And they have that in New York as well, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And it's always comics that think they're more important than they really are.
See, that to me is what hurts the most about roasting, is that you're literally hearing from your peers, not idols, not people you look up to. There's someone who's like maybe a degree removed from you. They may have been on Conan once, you know, or whatever.
Or they're not as funny as you, and you know that you blow them off the stage, and then they want to tear you down. Just because it's their one shot to jab you. And that's why I don't pay attention to it. I laugh. The hardest roast, what was your hardest roast battle that you ever did? Like, what was the most challenging one?
The most challenging one was, I was part of, you know, like you said in the intro, I was a paid regular, and I was one of the first paid regular roast battles at the Comedy Store.
Okay.
It was me versus Mike Favorman.
Oh God.
And
I hope you won. I hope you won.
I won the first round, and he won the second round,
Oh.
and then he won the third round. I lost to him. I lost to Mike Favorman.
What's with the balloons? Did you see that?
Oh, I don't know. It's like I just did this, and then did this, and then this, and then it just happens. I don't know. Is it my birthday? I don't know.
I don't know. I think the podcast thinks you won that battle.
You got some AI producers working for you right now.
Apparently you do, or they think that Mike Favorman's full of hot air.
it was perfectly timed.
I know. I was like, yay! How did we do that? Rude.
That was the most nerve-wracking because it was. They usually have like a lot of people starting out in comedy doing those roast battles because it's the quickest way to move up or whatever.
Sure.
And Moses asked me, Brian Moses, the host of Roast Battle, asked me to do it. I'm going to go against Favorman. My Favorman is disgusting. He's filthy. I love him, pig. This guy, he doesn't care. I'm like, he has no shame.
None.
And I have a little shame. I'm not going to lie. I have a little bit of shame.
You have class, Willie. You have class.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that. Favorman has no class. I will say that.
None.
And
he's a GED flunky.
We had a couple judges that I believe it was Moshe Kasher and Natasha Leggero. I think they were the judges.
Oh.
Anyway,
I'm sorry. I mean, yay.
And they spent the time like literally just making, they got the microphone, so they spent their entire time judging, making fun of me. And I remember going like, this feels like Mean Girls a little bit. It felt like I was Lindsay Lohan's character, and I thought I was in the cool club, and no, I'm not.
Nope.
I'm actually they set me up.
Oh,
and I remember
they did.
After the show, Moshe came up to me and he was like, hey, Willie, that was a lot of fun, right? And I go, oh, I'm happy to be the fodder for your entertainment. That was a lot of fun for everyone involved. And he goes, oh, and I go, yeah, I wasn't having fun. I mean, anyone who's getting bullied or double teamed from a married couple or whatever, and no pun intended there. In most cases, that may be fun, not in this case.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And that was like the last time I roasted. And I was like, I can't stand up there and just get ridiculed and judged by. I'm not saying people I don't respect, because I respect Moshe and Natasha. It's just that I didn't.
Do you though?
Like, not enough for them to shit on me like they did, I guess. If it would have been Don Rickles, I'd have been crying because I'm like so joyous, If it would have been somebody
good, I would be like, yeah, roast me, baby.
Yeah, but it was just mean spirited. It wasn't even really funny. The audience wasn't really laughing. I remember people came up to me and are like, man, they were really mean to you. And I was like, yeah, they were, wasn't they? It didn't seem very funny, But that was one of the last times I did it. I said, I can't stand up there and get judged.
Yeah, it's
I'll do it for fun in a parking lot if we're roasted. Another comic,
But fun. If it's people that love you and respect you, you know what I mean? It's not like Mean Girl or attacking or against you. Like when I did the stand that time, it was all those, the Karen Fians and the Corinne Fishers, the Mean Girl Club. They don't like me. I like Corinne. She's not Corinne, Karen Fian. She's nice, but she's a mess, But they, they made their money. They did their thing. God bless them. I wish them all the success, but they're just mean girls, and they don't like other girls that aren't like them, that don't play the game, that, all that bullshit, because I don't give a fuck. I'm like, be funny.
Do you think, it's not even a girls thing, it's a men thing too, and male comics do it too, jealousy and seeing someone who they think that should not be where they're at, or, it's respecting or whatever. But it's usually, I find it more common when it's like the Mean Girls thing is usually a lot more on the women comic side.
Oh yeah. 100. Listen, I always tell people this, and I've been doing stand-up 28 years. So I've seen and heard every bullshit thing on the planet. I told this to one of the clubs here, fired their bookers that were making the money and helped them make a second location because they were making so much money. And then they fired them because they got greedy, right? So now the club's failing. They might close. Good for them. That's what you get for firing 2 good guys. So, cut to, they hire this girl. She's a 5-6 year comic to book the club. And I said, do you understand? Since she took over, I don't get...
Well, we lost Christy again. She'll be back, everyone. I hate that it pops out like right at the juicy part of the story. You know, it's just like a little cliffhanger. It's like a old rock.
Break. I just switched routers. I just went to my hotspot. I can't take this Spectrum anymore. So, what were we saying? I forgot now.
Oh, the new booker at the club. The new.
Oh, yes. So I said, do you understand that I don't get spots anymore because I'm going to tell you something about women in comedy versus men in comedy. Because these guys don't know. I said, women are meaner to other women because they're fighting for the same carrot. And the girl comics always want to be the pretty one in the room and the funny one. So you'll see one girl, if she's producing a show, you'll see she's the one on the show. Everybody else is a guy. And it has nothing to do with funny or not. It has nothing to do with it. It's about being surrounded by guys because she wants to be the funny girl with the guys. And I said, men are nicer to women comics than women are because women have vaginas and men have penises. And there's that one, men have that one little shot of hope that as long as they have their penis and as long as she has her vagina, that he could stick it in there at one point. So he's got, you know what I mean? That's reality.
I mean, you can break it down any more eloquently.
Thank you. I talk to everybody like they're 5. So
no. I mean, actually, that was you hit the nail on the head right there. You know, that's so true. I find it that as a comic, you know, when there's a show out here in Los Angeles called Pretty Funny Women.
Yes, I know. It's been around a long time. Yeah, it's been around a long time. It's been around
for a while. But I didn't know there was an email that comes with this show, that these are the rules you have to adhere to do the show. Like, you got to dress up, you got to dress nice, can't look frumpy looking.
Nope.
You know, wear a dress, basically a cocktail dress.
Yeah.
You
I will never do that show.
Yeah. You wear a cocktail dress, you got to bring 10 people. You know, you can't joke about this, and that. I was like, what kind of nonsense is this?
What in the Handmaid's Tale is this show?
And the person who runs the show is a woman. That's the part that blows my mind, because I was like, okay, I can see some dude trying to be some little Hugh Hefner here, you know, behind the scenes, trying to you know,
absolutely.
But to see a fellow, I'm assuming she's a comedian too or something.
Yeah, she is.
What is she trying to create, like a class, a genre, or
I think what she's trying to do all these years is to show that women have class and they're pretty and they don't talk, and like, go fuck yourself. I'm more woman than you'll ever be and probably more man than you'll ever get, bitch. And the fact that it's just like, I am relaxed I talk about anything I want. No one's going to tell me how to do my shit. And no one's going to tell me how. I've been told how to dress, how to talk, how to speak, how to approach, how to do my hair, what to say, what not to say. You shouldn't talk about that every fucking day of my life at the Comedy Store from these other comics that weren't in at the Comedy Store that I do other shows with on the road. And they would tell me, you should wear a dress. It might go over better. Did you ever think about not cursing? Maybe you should put your hair up. Did you ever think of that? You know, I'm like, did you ever think of shutting up without getting a fucking fist in your throat? How about that? How about mind your business? You know what I mean? It's like they always want to tell women what to do. And other women they fall into that trap of telling other women how to be a woman because they know best. And
but it's crazy because you, like, especially in male comedies, there's, I won't say diversity as far as race, but there's diversity in opinions in comedy. Like in the male comedy, you can be this type of. Why can't you have that for women? Why can't you have, like, oh, she's a dry comic, she is blue comic, she is a one-liner, she is a it's always like she's a woman comic. Like that's just only one archetype you can be.
Because men, from the beginning of time, men have always put us in that little category. Like gay comics, female comics, black comics, Spanish comics. It's a niche that they want to put us in with labels. And this is why I hate theme shows.
Yeah.
And I hate all female lineups. It's ladies' night. Go fuck yourself. I don't want to listen to 4 bitches talk all night. No ma'am. I like variety. Right. If it's 4 females, give me an Indian girl. Give me a black girl. Give me a white girl. Give me a Jewish or an Asian girl. Let me hear 4 different perspectives. Do you know what I mean? But women are also conditioned to talk a certain way on stage. You talk about your husband, you talk about your children, you talk about your family, you talk about this, you talk about your job, you talk about your period, you talk about pregnancy, and you keep it to that point, and that's it. So when they experience somebody like me who doesn't fall into that, they don't know what to do with it. So they fear it or they try to crush it. And no one will. I get more respect from male comics than I do female comics. Because of the fact, like Paul Mooney told me this years ago, and I always talk about this to everybody, and I've said it on the show here many times. One night I got off stage at Caroline's, and he used to always stand in the back of the room and watch me before he went up, because he was my mentor. He was my father, So I got off stage, and he's like standing there, and I crushed. It was like, I'm surprised they didn't stand. Like I murdered. And I get off stage, and he goes, "Very funny, honey." And he's like, stands there all point. "Oh, very funny, honey. Funny stuff." And I said, "Thanks." I said, "Thank you." And he goes, "Just know they're going to want to lynch you." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Honey, you have a freedom on that stage that they don't have, and they're going to kill you for it. Watch." Man. He was right. Mm-hmm.
The great Paul Mooney.
The greatest. But yeah, I have a freedom up there that people don't have. And I've said things and done stuff that people could never pull off. And it's not, I think because too, I come from a loving, unconditional, we're all together family kind of place. Right. I come from love. I was taught how to read by drag queens. You know what I mean? And playing Paul Mooney rooms, you gotta hold your own as a white girl.
Right.
And it's, the things I've said and gotten away with because I just commit. I just let it out and just let it fall. And that's how all my years of stand-up from the beginning is how I evolved into this piece of shit that I am today.
It would almost be a disservice not to be yourself at this point in your career, of all the spots you've done, and I like random rooms, laundromats, bars, strip clubs, wherever the hell, whenever there's a mic and someone says you want to do some time, I'm like, I have no shame.
And I'm lucky, like I talk about the comedy trifecta and like playing a white room, playing a black room, and playing a gay room. That's the trifecta in my book.
Oh, and
really? I can play all 3. And one of the things that it's the funniest thing to watch, and it's also a really pisses me off at the same time, is watching white dudes go into a black room and then start cooning on stage and pandering. I call it white cooning. And it's like, it's white cooning. And it's just like, and I'm up there just like, just be funny, dude. Just be funny. Stop treating them like they're not people. Stop.
Well, I remember I was our mutual.
So I go up after them, and then
Marino
oh yes, you got it.
he would say, because there's something about like a white man that kind of clams up in a room full of black people, knowing that for once you are not the coolest person. Like, you are the least coolest person in this room right now. So it's almost like you got to try even harder to try to fit in. So you'll see the pandering, you'll see the, all that good stuff. But it is fun to watch, though. It's either they go that route, or like the pandering route, or I'm cool enough to where I'm gonna burn it all down route. which is where, hey, look.
It's your finger.
Yes, it happened with this. Look at that. Oh, come
on. If a clown comes out of a gutter, I'm leaving.
But speaking of black rooms, like I remember when I first started, I started doing stand up, and because everything was so segregated as far as shows were, like the black show or this type of show or whatever, and I would run around. I would do the black rooms, and I wasn't gonna pander to what the comics I saw before me. Like they were dancing on stage, talking about driving your car backwards for some reason. I don't know. It was craziness. And I remember I went up there and I made a joke about it at the time the movie Precious was out.
Oh.
And I had made a Precious joke, and it got quiet as hell up in that room. And I'm like, yeah, I tell dark jokes. This is my style. I talk about stuff that no one, if there's a funeral, I'm thinking of the next bit right now. I don't know. That's how I cope. And then after I said, I remember someone in the back goes, "Oh, he's smart." And then that's when the crowd got on my side. They're like, "Oh, he's intelligent. He's doing material. He's not dancing. He's not, as you would say, cooning." There you go.
Yeah, white cooning. But you just have to just be funny and be fearless. You know what I mean? And to me, the thing I like about black rooms versus white rooms, the pros of that is you always know where you stand on every joke.
Oh, yeah.
They will tell you straight. They don't hold nothing back. White people will sit there and hold back. Oh. Or sit quiet. You know what I mean? They're very internal. They're very, introverted with their laughs or their feelings at a comedy show.
But I always love it when they say it's just a regular room, right? And there's someone, and I love Brody Stevens. You know how he
legend.
How he attacks the audience if they're not with them. The thing I love about Brody is that he would do that in a black room too, and it would kill.
Yeah, because he's fearless. Brody was fearless. He wasn't afraid of them. They know when you're apprehensive or you pull back a little bit because you're afraid to offend anybody, they smell it's like blood in the water. Right. And they're gonna they're piranhas. They'll fucking chew you up in a second. So I go, listen, Brody was brilliant. He didn't give a fuck. And another person like that is Holtzman. He don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck. And I remember one time, you might like this, I've said this, my listeners, I love you guys because you listen to the same bullshit half the time. There was one time I went on stage. It was right when I got to New York and I started working with Mooney full time here in New York. And I go on stage and it's packed. And the front row was this girl and her boyfriend. And, the tables were long at Caroline's in the front row. They were long tables. So you sat sideways and watched, right? So this girl, I walk up and she literally crosses her arms and turns her back to me like this. And her boyfriend's looking and she's looking at him like, "Don't laugh, motherfucker." Like, because there's a girl on stage. And it was really tense and I was doing stuff and she was just adamant. So I bent down behind her head. She couldn't see me. I bent down behind her head and I said, "It's okay, honey. I'm not fat enough to fuck your man." The crowd went nuts. I mean, people were stomping. Ah! Woo! Oh, no, she didn't. Oh, no, she didn't. Oh, my God, that's hilarious. Pounding tables, stomping. The place is going nuts. And I just clowned her. I said, "It's okay, honey. I'm not fat enough to fuck your boyfriend."
Oh, my goodness.
And that was, I won. And I won them over.
Oh, yeah.
In that moment, I could do no. And I said, "You know what? I don't have to hold back." Because this is going back like 17 years now, 18 years, something like that. And I was just like, okay, we're doing this. This is a New York show. This is a Paul Mooney room. I got to go for it, go big or go home. And when I said that to her, I won them over and I fucking destroyed. And I was like, yep, no fear, bitch.
Yeah, it's like and you were in the room too, like that.
Yeah.
That's like a one of those comedic tricks, which is dangerous. It can be very dangerous sometimes when you go into an establishment or wherever you're performing at, and you're making riffs in your head. You're like, should I say this on stage? I don't know. I don't want to lose the room early on. I want them to like me, but at the same time, I got to talk about this stuffed giant grizzly bear they have in a corner. I got to riff on that. Like, I remember one time I was hosting at the Improv, and it was a fun lineup, and the crowd was packed or whatever. And Dane Cook went up, and that night he ate a shit sandwich. Like, he was bombing.
Wow.
So much that he started berating the audience members. There was a couple women in the front, and he started yelling at these couple of women. Oh my
God.
Saying things like, I don't need this. You know who I am.
Neither do they. Get off the stage.
All these other comics on the lineup, they need this, all this type of stuff.
God.
And I'm hosting the show, I'm hosting. So I got to go up after this and mop it up,
Right.
And so I go up there, the crowd's kind of chattery or whatever. And I said, Dane Cook, everyone, and no one really gives it up for him. And I go, I'm going to be honest with you. I need this. I haven't eaten today. I'm getting paid $25. I said, well, it would be really funny if this was happening and these two girls in the front row leaves with Dane in his limo at the end of the night. And then the girl's like, I would never leave with him. I said, I know, that's a hypothetical there. But just like being in the room and taking moments and owning it, that's what I love about stand-up comedy the most.
A buddy of mine, because I love the elephant in the room. I love it. I love when shit happens. I always tell people, let them heckle. Let them talk shit, because that's my bread and butter. Do you understand?
Right.
And I don't have any fear, and I'm really great in the moment. That's one of my strong suits, which is, thank God. So, every show is different that I do, because there's different audiences. There's different circumstances, different stupid shit happens. So it's always fun to be, I have my material, but my material is always in the moment. And I'll use in the moment shit to segue into bits, or I will, incorporate the audience as a segue for a bit. So it becomes more personal to them, like I'm just riffing. But I have all the material, but I don't have any of the crowd work material in my head. I just have the jokes, the bits. And so when shit pops off, there's nothing better than when shit pops off that I could just weave it right in. Boom, crush. You know what I mean? It's like, I love the elephant in the room. And if I wish I was there when Dane Cook bombed, because I would have let him have it. I would have unleashed the Kraken on him.
This is going back to bookers. I was very fortunate to get booked at the Improv, so I was like, I don't want to ruin this moment. But at the same time, the comedic side of me is like, I can't let this slip away either.
You can't. You gotta. Those are golden nuggets that God hands to you as a little treat. Here you go. You're such a good person. Here's a little snack, like a puppy treat. It's like, you gotta seize that moment. Especially, and that was one thing that I learned a lot in black rooms, was to address the elephant in the room. If something crazy happened or something stupid and you don't, they'll turn on you. Like, why aren't you talking about this?
Yeah.
And white rooms are more polite about that. They'll just sit quiet and not know what to do.
Well, they'll go, where's security? Where's security at? They're interrupting us. Black rooms like, you gonna do something about that?
It's not the internet. It's StreamYard.
Oh.
Yeah, StreamYard is shutting down on me. So, bastards.
So it's only happened a couple times anyway.
Probably like 18 times during this. It's the Willie Hunter Show. I'm changing the...
There was I remember when Conan O'Brien bought a Super Bowl ad. It was like, it was like $6 million for 60 seconds.
Wow.
And he bought 1 second. And his ad was, this was his ad. He goes, he pops on the screen. He goes, me. And that was it. one of my favorite Super Bowl ads of all time.
That is the most I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was
but now
about 7-8 years ago, something like that.
He is so funny. So I think Conan is hilarious.
That's my guy right there. That's what got me into stand-up comedy was Conan O'Brien. When I was a kid, I used to watch his late night show.
He was my favorite late night because it was like he wasn't so conformed and structured. He would just go off on shit. He was free, and his freedom is what was like, yeah, you can do that. Fuck yeah, you can do that on late night. Yes, go nuts. Do that. Don't be so structured, And he really, he changed late night in the capacity of that structure. I mean, Letterman is, a legend, and Johnny Carson is, the king.
Right.
And, go back, Ed Sullivan and Merv Griffin, all the other, but they weren't late nights. So it's, Johnny Carson was brilliant, so brilliant, because he would literally let people on the couch go nuts, where Conan went nuts to the people on the couch. You know what I mean? Like they swapped, but it was so nice to see a host just let loose and not be so, cookie cutter.
Yeah. So stuffed up and,
and like, I'm corporate, I'm network, I got to do it like this. And Letterman.
What I really love about Conan was that he didn't mind being the butt of a joke. Was like, we're having fun here. Everyone was gonna laugh. We're gonna laugh at everything. I really love that a lot.
Yeah, it's huge when you can take a joke. That's why I throw myself under the bus in my act all the time, because it's funny. It's funny to make fun of yourself. And when people can roast you well, fucking do it. Let me hear your brilliance. I'm into the actual structure of the joke and and what made you come up with that. That was fucking genius. Like, I'm obsessed with that. I don't care about getting roasted. Do it. Let me have it. Let me fucking have it. Just I turn to my ass. God damn it.
No one can make more fun of me than me. No one can beat me at that.
Nope. Like, I'm the queen.
Yeah. Like, if I really wanted to make fun of myself, I could,
Oh, I love it. And then I get people after a show going, "You're so mean to yourself. You're very pretty. You're very fun." I'm like, it's a joke. It's okay. You shouldn't say those nasty things about yourself. I go, now I want to throat punch you because you just said, shut up. God, let me hold this. Boosh, right in the head. You fuck. It's a joke. It's comedy. I can't.
Oh, man. The only time I will say there's one time I did get up and walked out on someone's set. It was my friend Jamar Neighbors. I don't know if you know him, and he really pushes the envelope. He'll talk about, if you tell him something not to joke about, that's the first thing he's going to go on stage to joke about.
Yep.
So we're performing in Aurora, Colorado, about 16 minutes from the Aurora Theater where they had the Batman shooting. We all know this. No one's going to say anything. Not Jamar.
Jamar
goes up there and he's doing his joke. He's actually doing well. He's doing 6 minutes in his set. He's killing them. He's got him eating out of his hands.
Right.
And then something in his head said, "Hey, talk about that shooting." And he in the middle of the set, it was so random. He goes, "So y'all know if y'all got discounts on those tickets over here? I'm trying to go see a movie."
Oh.
Everyone goes, and I go, "Oh my God, Jamar, you're gonna do this." He goes, "Well, for real. I mean, I know y'all had that, this. I know you got discount tickets." And then a woman stands up. She goes, "This is not funny." Slams her drinks down, storms out of the comedy club.
Oh my God.
Jamar meanders through like 3 more minutes. He gets off stage, and we're in the back in the green room, and he goes, "Oh man, I didn't think they're gonna react that way." I was like, "Jamar, the movie theater is down the street."
Yeah. They're still finding bodies to this day. Dick. They're still missing. Look around.
Someone pulled it up on their phone. It was like literally like 4 blocks away.
Yeah.
Like you was like, what are you doing? Like, so we had to wait at the end of the show to get escorted out because people were waiting to beat him up outside.
Oh my God. What an idiot. I love it though. But that's
I love it too. But
like,
my thing is, where were you going with it though? Like, you got to be
have a
clever.
payoff. Yeah, you got to pay it.
Like,
Mooney, after 9/11, I was like, oh no. Because Mooney, he went right on that stage that weekend and did about 10, 20 minutes on 9/11. Oh, and murdered. It was so clever and so, because it's Mooney. He's brilliant.
Right.
It was so good. Like, people are like in shock, but laughing so hard at his take on it. It's just, if you guys get, I think it's on his Analyzing White America special.
I gotta watch this. If it's on there, I definitely gotta watch that.
Yeah, because I mean, I've watched that bit 400,000 times opening for him, and the first time I heard it, Willie, I spit my water across the room. It was so funny. I was like, this motherfucker is the only one I know that could go on after a huge tragedy that's going to shift the times. Like, this is a defining moment in history, and this motherfucker is going to go up there while they're still digging bodies out of the rubble and do 20 minutes on it and kill. He murders with that shit. And it was so brilliant. And I was like, God damn it, this man, we need to wrap him in bubble wrap, because this man needs to live forever. Like, we need a live forever potion to give to him before he died, because that shit was so brilliant. How he talked about the hijackers and oh my God, I'm not going to say anything because I want you to watch it.
Okay.
And if you guys out there watch Paul Mooney's Analyzing White America, I believe that's the special that it's on. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah,
man.
but Jamar didn't have anything to pay it off with. That's why they
had nothing. Yeah, it was more of him just trying to shock.
Yeah,
you can still shock people on stage, but you got, like you said, we've been saying the theme throughout this entire episode, it's just still got to be funny.
Yeah.
Like,
nobody cares.
Be
funny.
There,
yeah, nobody cares. Be funny. No one cares. Just be fucking funny. If you're gonna do something, it better be funny. And if you're not funny, you shouldn't do it. There are subjects I don't talk about because I can't be funny with them. I know that, so I stay away from them. It's just not in my wheelhouse. It's not my mentality. It's not how I feel. It's not part of my point of view DNA, so to speak. And so I just stay away from it. I don't do politics. I don't talk about family stuff. I don't have any connection to my family. So there's nothing to talk about. And when it comes to like anything, I don't like to divide audiences. I don't want anybody to feel alienated by something that I think, or my opinion on something, or my stance.
Oh.
Annoying. Are you there?
Oh yeah.
But when even if I have a strong opinion about something, I'm gonna go dark and fucked up with it, and I commit to it.
Right.
Like the closest thing I ever did on my album, Brutally Yours, on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music, Tidal, wherever you stream your music. That's my shameless plug. On my album, I talked about Roe versus Wade, but not in the sense of like the two sides. It was about why it cannot be taken away. And I posted that as a clip, part of it as a clip, as one of the first preview clips for the album when it released. And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna get me canceled. I'm gonna get some publicity. It's gonna crush. I'm gonna be hated, and everybody's gonna share it like what a bitch this girl is, and it's gonna go viral. I think it only got like 5,000 views. And people are like, this is so real. Oh my God, she just said what we were thinking. And I'm like, God damn it, I can't even get canceled, right? God damn it. But because it was funny, and it was probably the hardest laugh on the entire album. When I did an hour and a half that night, and it was probably the hardest laugh that I got all night, where I had to wait for them to stop scream. They were screaming, laughing. They weren't just laughing. They were screaming, laughing. And it was unreal. It was such an unbelievable connection with that bit because it was so honest, and it just came out. I'm like, you shouldn't do it, but I do it because I commit. You know, my morals go, yeah, you shouldn't do that. But me, I'm like, fuck you, I'm doing it. You don't want me to do it? Oh, I'm in. Oh, we're diving in deep. And it always pays off for me. It always pays off because of the commitment. I commit to the ridiculousness of it. Like, listen to what I'm saying. It's absurd what I'm talking about. But yeah, so working with Jerrod Carmichael and helping him with his co-create his show, The Carmichael Show. How was that? How is he to work with? I don't know him. I know of him, like I've seen him with roast battle stuff, and I've seen his stand up on, online. But I don't. He was there after I left because I left in 2005.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's how we actually met, was doing stand up comedy, doing open mics. Jerrod and I, we both started around 2008. And we were like a new crop of comics with a lot of people, and we always hung out. And I remember when I first met Jerrod, he had a Harvard sweatshirt on, and I was like, Harvard? And then the next day he had like a brown one on, and then the next day he had a Yale one. I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? And he goes, I said, you didn't go to Harvard, you didn't go to Brown, you didn't go to Yale. And he goes, you're right, but those people don't think I did. And he was just pointing to the bookers and the other white people in the room, because you just see a dark black man with a Harvard sweatshirt on. You assume he went to Harvard. So I was like, this guy's wicked. He's a twisted individual. And we hit it off very well. It was very fun to work with him. It's like riffing with your friends all day. And Jerrod and I have a very Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck vibe, where he believes in capitalism. He loves capitalism. He loves making money. The best is the best. And I'm a little more of like, no, we're all in this together, and then everything needs to be fair. Yeah. And and we'll argue both sides of that. And while we're arguing both sides of that, gems are popping out of there. Right. And as we're having these debates all the time, we're realizing, hey, man, a character can say this line in a TV show. Someone could have this line in a show. And, and then when we create a Carmichael Show, we wanted something like All in the Family, where you have each family member have a point of view and one big argument. And so we would try to argue from every point of view of something, kind of like when we do stand-up, like, hey, this is my point of view, but I wonder what this point of view would be. I wonder what that point of view would be. And so we would just argue all the time, and we would just transcribe it into our scripts. Our writer's room was one big debate. It was just 12 people in there yelling at each other about what you can and can't do.
That's usually what it's like.
Yeah, and it was like group therapy. That's all it was,
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
I remember one time, I think like a writer's room story that I think is very funny, was that every time on Carmichael Show, if there was someone's birthday or some sort of celebration, we would have cake. There's so much fucking cake on that show. Like someone would bring some, $30 cake or whatever. And someone was like, this is called the Carmichael Show. It's called the Cake Michael Show. And one time, I believe it was Tiffany Haddish's birthday, and she was a new character on the show, and someone forgot to get cake.
Oh no. and for the fucking foster child too, who gets forgotten at every holiday.
That's exactly what she said. She goes, this is taking me back.
There it is.
It was just, working on that show was like being in a big family. We got to argue a lot. We got to make some good stuff. We lasted for 3 seasons, which was the right amount of time. We got to make jokes on that show that can be made today. I remember the most horrific joke we had on that show. The only thing that got a backlash was that Jerrod's father had to write the eulogy for his father's death.
Okay.
And and he was having writer's block.
Sure.
But everyone in the family kept calling, "You got the case of the Dale Earnhardts?" And they're like, "What is that?" So when you're thinking and you hit a wall, and so many people from the South disowned ours. They were like, "There's no way you make fun of the king. You make fun of Dale. No way." And we did way worse stuff on that show, but that one, the South was rising again.
Yeah, you don't fuck with Elvis or Dale Earnhardt.
That's what I found out.
Yeah, you don't. Or Dolly Parton, and nobody would anyway, because if you did, you will die. God will strike you dead if you fuck with Dolly.
Yeah,
they'll kill you. God will strike you dead in person. You'll be walking, boom. Oh, someone said shit about Dolly because they just got struck down, bitch. But I love you to death, Willie. I wish you were in New York more.
Yeah, I got to come back out there. I missed it a lot. I miss even the things when I say I miss about New York are the things you're not supposed to miss.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I miss the bags of trash on the sidewalks, during Christmas, because the snow would get on it and it would look like festive for a little bit of time.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh, this is nice out here.
Oh, honey, we know how to make
rats.
Yeah, we know how to make trash look cute, honey. It's always on the corner, honey. It's always working. Yes, bitch. Oh, the rats are The rats take care of the neighborhood. They scour more than the cops do. Like the rats handle shit. Like, listen, there could be cops. People still commit crimes. There'll be rats. People run for the fucking hills. They lock their doors. They ain't doing shit outside. I ain't smoking no weed outside. Fuck this shit. There's a rat out there. There's a cop. People are like, fuck you, cop.
There you go. Just give the rats badges because they are they might as well, especially in the park at nighttime. You're like, I'm not scared of a gunman in the park at nighttime. I'm scared of those rats.
Listen, give a rat a badge and a gun and watch this shit go down. And put them on the MTA. We'll see how many people jump fares.
They'll be jumping all right.
Out the door.
For sure. Up. I wish I would have kept a tally of how many times that the pop out happened.
Well, I think the rat disconnected us.
The rat disconnected. Oh, damn.
Well, we got to wrap up anyway. And before we go, I always like to wrap up with these two silly questions. They're fun. And
okay.
Fun to learn about what makes you tick. So the first question: is there a bit a comic has done that made you go, "Damn, that's brilliant! I wish I had written that." And who was
it? There was a comic that he's passed away now, who I came up with. His name was Angelo Bowers.
I remember Angelo.
Angelo is an amazing guy, but he had a way of telling jokes that I was like, how did he was so economical with his jokes. Yeah. Like there's two of his that I like. And Brody Stevens had a good one too, but two of Angelo's that I really like. One of them was, "You guys, it's not going well for me in Hollywood. Last night I saw a homeless man sleeping under my headshots." And I was like, what? And just the imagery of that. And he had another one, which is one of my favorites to tell people. And I don't know if you can tell this joke because it's so great. I'm just telling you what he said.
Just tell it.
He says, "My dad told me when I was young, there's no I and you need to play football, faggot."
But there is a you, so you need to play football, faggot. See, I'm always tagging. And working with Mooney as long as I did, Mooney used to close his sets with street jokes, but he would Mooney-ize them. Like he would tell it the way as if he wrote it. You know what I mean? So, do you have a go-to street joke that you like to tell?
Not really. I'm more of a quip or a jabby type of person. There was one time where if you need like a go-to insult to someone on looks, and if someone looks a little dusty and a little hairy or whatever, just say that they look like swept up barbershop hair. Because the image of a bunch of random pieces of hair on the ground being dusted up with dust, that's for your dusty black people. If you're ever going to roast a dusty black person, that's what you need to say. You look
that's
like
a good drag name. That's a good Dusty Black.
Oh my God.
Right? Dusty Black. Oh, that's a Dusty Black, Cheryl.
It has to be an old black man, too.
Right? An old queen. An old drag queen.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Old raggedy ass bitch.
If there's anything I gotten from this is Dusty Black, that's for sure. I mean, I'm like, that's fun right there.
Turns my whole world Dusty Black. Oh God, Willie, you make me fucking laugh so hard. I love you so much. Tell everybody if there's anything you got coming up you want to plug, where they can find you on the socials and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm in Los Angeles now and be here for a bit. I guess I live here, you know. So you can see me perform at the Comedy Store. I perform there like at least once a week. You can find me on Instagram at Willie_Hunter. I just got back on Twitter, and so I don't know how long I'm gonna stay on Twitter. I hear they call it X now, but I just got back on Twitter, and it's at the Willie Hunter. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, just like an ex, it needs to stay in the past, darling. Hello.
There you go.
And you could also follow the show here at Old Skool New Skool Comedy on Instagram. And you can follow me as well at Christy Miller Comedy. So, you know, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share the show. We love you. We'll see you next week. And that's it. Bye.